Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, Danny. Good to see you. We obviously brought you on to talk about the Calgary Saskatchewan Western semifinal because you said in your tweet this morning how fascinating the matchup is and all that. So can we please start there and talk about the actual games and what has you so excited about the Western semifinal on Sunday?
What has me excited is I have absolutely no idea how this is going to play out. I think these are two really, really evenly matched teams. We had that sort of insane, it would have been, I guess, 4 weeks, but 3 games in 4 weeks for the Stampeders, 3 straight for the Riders against the Stamps. And they were decided by a grand total of 6 points. I mean, anyone who says they know what's going to happen in this game is full of it, because I think these are two teams. It's whichever one comes in, gets hot, whichever one executes. But they're both very good football teams, in my opinion, who you look at, I mean, what's the Riders' winning streak coming into the playoffs? And then you look at the Stamps, they were 2-5 last time we talked, Rod. Then they went 6-1 down the stretch. So these are two very good teams who I think are capable of beating out anybody. And I've tweeted about it after a regular season that I generally think was pretty underwhelming from this league. I love every playoff matchup we've got, and it starts with this one between Calgary and Saskatchewan. I'm just fascinated. I can't wait.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
For the Canadians that don't know, and I think people should, U.S. Thanksgiving is Thursday. And the rule of thumb, Darren, is U.S. Thanksgiving is like the cutoff line where you know what you have or you don't have.
Vegas and the Islanders. We talked about the Islanders yesterday and Vegas. Is this who these teams are? We don't want to accept that because it's so early, but it's U.S. Thanksgiving.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. One half of the show coming to you from this location, the Great Western Brewery in Saskatoon, where they brew Great Western Original 16 beer. And for another day, yours truly down here in South Florida, where it is game day in South Florida. We're going to be talking about that. It is episode number 618 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. And away we go. Coming up on the program today, longtime Toronto Blue Jays broadcaster, now columnist, Mike Wilner, going to join us to talk about Canada's blue team. And one of our favorite all-time human beings roaming the planet, Clark Gillies, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Memorial Cup champion, former New York Islander and Regina Pat. Clark Gillies will join us in advance of the huge Rangers-Islanders game tonight. And we welcome in from the Great Western Brewery in Saskatoon, where Great Western provides coverage of our Tim Hortons Olympic curling trials, Darren Moose Dupont, along with Core Grain. As you see, I'm wearing my Core Grain golf shirt. I was told to pack it by Morgan, doing the right thing for your farm. Moose, before we get into the quick six and all the rest, how's your day going so far?
It's off to a great start. Yeah, great start. Got a little bit of the curling in this morning. And no, it's awesome. Saskatoon's a great spot to be here this week.
Oh, yeah. And I've been following the morning draw, by the way, the Tim Hortons curling trials all morning long on TSN, which is part of my quick six. But if you can hit the horn, please, Jordan, let's get down to business, please. By the way, my IFB, as you TV people call it, has officially calved. So I've hot-wired something, rejigged something here for earpiece 911 today, and then I'll go get a better one later on today. So if I'm fidgeting more than normal, you'll know why. Okay, number one, NHL from Tuesday. I expect today's program is going to get very spicy in that regard. Yesterday, we did spend a lot of time on the CFL, and that's cool. Today will be a lot of time on the NHL. Matthew Tkachuk's goal late in the third period broke a 2-2 tie as the Calgary Flames remain red hot Tuesday with a 5-2 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks in the Saddle Dome. The game winner came on a fortuitous bounce at the 14:25 mark as Tkachuk's centering pass went off the skate of Chicago defenseman Seth Jones and over the shoulder of goalie Marc-Andre Fleury. Dylan Dubé, Milan Lucic, and a pair of empty netters from Trevor Lewis and Johnny Gaudreau rounded up the scoring for the Flames, who are now 12-3-5. Jacob Markstrom had 19 saves as the Flames extended their win streak to 4, and they are now number 1. They are now number 1 in the NHL's Western Conference. Looking southward, red-hot Roope Hintz scored the first of 2 Dallas power play goals in the first period, and the Stars handed the Edmonton Oilers just their 5th loss of the season, 4-1 Tuesday night. Hintz has scored all 6 of his goals this season in the last 6 games, and this was his first on the power play. On Saturday, he had become the first Dallas Star to score 2 shorties in the same game. Roope Hintz. Learn the name, Darren. I just did this morning. It's not Roop. It's Roope. You're going to want to know. And he added a helper last night, giving him 9 points in the past 6 games. And Jason Robertson, Dennis Gurianov, and Luke Glendening also scored for Dallas, who have won 4 of 5. Edmonton had a season-low 21 shots on goal. And before we delve more deeply into the BOA, I just want to talk about the game that I watched last night, and it is this. Andrei Vasilevsky made 34 saves. Zach Bogosian and Corey Perry both ended lengthy goal droughts, and the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-0 Tuesday night. Stammer had a goal and 2 helpers for the Lightning, who now have points in 11 of their last 12, and Tampa stands at 9-1-2. Of all the things that came out of that game there was this, Darren. You'll get a kick out of this. Zach Bogosian, they're making a huge deal, particularly our buddy Dave Randorf, the voice of the Lightning on television, that Zach Bogosian's cooking supper for the entire Tampa Bay team, either today or tomorrow for U.S. Thanksgiving. That never used to be a big deal at all. And I'll never forget with the Regina Pats, our head coach Bobby Lowe's, who's now a scout for the Vegas Golden Knights, his wife Shelley had the entire Regina Pats team over to their house in Brandon, and I think it was Canadian Thanksgiving then. And you can appreciate this as an old WHL fan that you are. Bobby Lowe's and I were bitter enemy. And his wife, Shelley, said to me, not even to me, she just said rhetorically in the kitchen, she goes, I never thought in a million years Rod Pedersen would be in our kitchen.
How about that?
So is it a big deal that Zach Bogosian is cooking for the entire team? And my guess, he might just wave a wand and bring in a catering company. I don't know. But to me, they're making a really big deal of it down here. Is it that big of a deal? I just feel like back in the day, it used to happen all the time.
I know. Maybe it just doesn't happen anymore. Maybe it's because of a post-COVID thing. I don't know. But either way, it's cool. I think it's a good news, feel good kind of story to tell you what this group's like and that kind of stuff. And I got time for all of that. So
do I. And I'm not saying it's not cool. To quote Chris Jones, don't get it twisted. Just saying this used to not be a thing. And now it's a thing.
Yeah.
Shoot. Brandon Bridges' mom cooked chicken and ribs for the entire Roughrider team on the road in Hamilton. I was there. You know those gigantic Tupperware tubs, Darren, that you cart things in when you're moving? She had that filled with chicken and ribs on the road.
I was going to say,
the guys were getting on the bus.
How expensive.
I like it.
I know, right? And I will never forget this. We're just gorging ourselves on chicken and ribs on the bus coming out of Hamilton, going to Toronto to get on the plane. And Duron Carter, my good friend DC, he's carrying like a football under his arm, this Tupperware container of ribs. And he's eating them. You can just imagine DC as he's walking into the airport. And my good friend Mike Davis says, there's no way, Duron, that you're going to get those ribs past airport security and onto the plane. And Duron goes, just watch me. And we separated. You know, you go down your separate ways. You go through the security. And there's Duron in row 5 on the plane eating his ribs. He did it. He sweet-talked the security to get his ribs on. So there's my Duron Carter, mom's cooking for the entire team story. The end. Moving on to point 2. Top 5, bottom 5 in the National Hockey League. Are we ready to go? I don't know if the guys want to put the graphic up or not. I know Nelson Vo, our content creator, asked me for these this morning. Here we go. I can't imagine that anybody's going to argue with these. The number 1 team in the National Hockey League are the Carolina Hurricanes. I think it's just 3 regulation losses for the Hurricanes. They continue to mulch the opposition in what I think is one of the toughest divisions in the National Hockey League. Not the toughest, but the Carolina Hurricanes are the number one team. Number two, there will be some conjecture over this and consternation, and I get it, but it is the Florida Panthers who are doing historical things. And tonight, when they welcome the Philadelphia Flyers, looking to make history with the longest home winning streak to start the season in terms of points. The number three team in the National Hockey League, are you ready? The Calgary Flames, number one in the Western Conference. They came out of nowhere.
Spicy.
One reason and one reason only. One reason and one reason only. His name is the Jolly Rancher, who, let's just call it right now, he's the coach of the year for Jack Adams. The number four team in the National Hockey League is the Washington Capitals because they are the first place team in the Metropolitan Division, which is the toughest division in the NHL. That's why Washington is the number four team. And number five, the Tampa Bay Lightning, which I just mentioned. They're on a roll. Points in 11 of 12. Two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. They have righted the ship. Sorry, Edmonton fans. They've slipped out of the top five. You got some splaining to do. Let's go to the bottom five. And we'll do this in reverse order. The 28th team in the National Hockey League, the Montreal Canadiens. They need Carey Price back fierce. They have the second worst plus-minus in the entire NHL at minus 26. It gets cold in Montreal. That is very cold. Number 29, the Ottawa Senators. And while they've got a lot less points because they've had games scratched because of COVID, they're still not very good. And they're dead last in the Atlantic Division, which isn't the best division to begin with. Number 30, the Vancouver Canucks. What are they waiting for? Why does Jim Benning still have a job? Can somebody tell me why? Second worst team in the NHL. Sorry, the Seattle Kraken. And as our friend Sheldon in Calgary pointed out to me yesterday, well, Kraken are sea-dwelling basement floor creatures. It's where they belong. And the 32nd team, the worst team in the NHL, continues to be the Arizona Coyotes. And they are an NHL worst, minus 35 and plus-minus differential. And it's sad to see. Coyote, you're either going forwards or going backwards in this world, Darren, and the Coyotes are going backwards, and I see no hope for them. So there's our NHL top five, bottom five. Before we move on to our next point, which is the curling coverage, your take on that. I see your Leafs aren't in either list. Your take on mine.
Yeah. Well, they're second. I thought they were second in the East or in the division behind Florida, 8-2 in their last 10. Maybe they're getting close to that top five list, but no, it's a good list. Tampa's kind of righted their ship a little bit, and Florida trying to get things rolling, keep things rolling at home. So, no, I like the list. The list is pretty good.
Thank you. There are some good teams in the National Hockey League. By the way, the warm-up is brought to you by E-Cold Electric. Come see our sales staff and in-house specialists for all your electrical needs. On we go to point three, which is curling. And that includes our live on-location broadcast at the Great Western Brewery in Saskatoon for Curling Canada's Olympic Trials. Also presented by Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. Carrie Anerson handed Jennifer Jones her first loss at Canada's Olympic Curling Trials in dramatic fashion last night. Anerson blew an early 6-point lead, and Jones stole a single to go up in the ninth before Anerson iced it with a pair in the 10th end to take a 10-9 decision. In other women's action, Tracy Fleury kept her unbeaten streak alive with an 8-3 win over Rachel Homan. Kelsey Rock edged Casey Scheidegger 6-5, and Krista McCarville defeated Jacqueline Harrison 6-4. Another win for Brad Gushue. That was the big game you talked about yesterday afternoon. He moved into sole possession of first with a 7-6 win over Brad Jacobs. I'm not going to go through the rest of the draw from yesterday afternoon because they're already on the ice this morning. Like I said, you got to pay attention. They're flying. I've been watching it all morning. And my number one question for you, Moose, is are they piping crowd noise into SaskTel Center this morning? Because sounded very loud there. I have no idea what they're cheering for because Team Dunstone continues to lose. Give me the scene from Saskatoon.
I'll tell you this. The curling fans here are extremely knowledgeable. And the other thing they're really good at, Rod, is multitasking. Like watching 4 games.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to, as a collective, know when all the big shots are happening. So you might be watching Dunstone over here. You might be locked into the Gushue game or whatever. Now they're playing each other today, right now. But no matter what, when there's a big shot, the crowd erupts, and they got their little cowbells going, and they got their little clappers, slapper things, and it's pretty great. So anytime there's a big shot, the crowd goes crazy. So no, it's not piped in. It's real. They're getting 8,000 to 10,000 people in there for these draws. It's an awesome atmosphere. And no, they're playing well. It's been really fun to watch.
Interesting point of today's coverage. Was it Cheryl Bernard, I believe, was on the morning draw this morning with Brian Mudrick, and she brought up the fact that as Canadian kids, we grow up either hockey or curling or hockey. That's what we gravitate towards as Canadian kids. And I thought, well, in my case, yeah, she's right. The sports that I grew up playing in my small town were hockey, baseball, curling, badminton. We played whatever was available. Football was not available to us. In your town, it was in Wynyard, the chicken capital. Football was available, right? That's why you grew up playing it, but I did not. It would be a good, interesting poll question, and that is, what are Canada's top 2 sports? Because there's a lot of football fans. I'm not just going to say CFL, just football fans in general that would take umbrage with Cheryl Bernard's, if it was Cheryl Bernard, whoever the female color commentator was today, saying that growing up in Canada, it's hockey and curling. Your take on that?
Yeah, I think, Cheryl's defense on this, I kind of had the same feeling, but it was more about, it was just a winter discussion. So it was, you know what? I wish I had curled more. And I really wish I had curled more. I thought I was okay at it. I liked it. I loved the strategy. I love looking at it. So I like being the skip and talking about, well, where are we going to go and what's the strategy and stuff. But I couldn't curl because I was playing hockey. So you kind of had to choose hockey or football. That was always the choice. I didn't have to choose hockey or it was hockey curling I had to choose between. I didn't have to choose hockey or football or hockey or baseball. I could do them both. So I think that's more of the discussion. It's hockey or curling. You could never find a way to do both or do both well.
There's some of our coverage on curling we'll get to more. By the way, on the way today, Clark Gillies and Mike Wilner. But our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is a spicy one, and that might be a theme throughout the rest of the day today. And it is, which is the better NHL team in Alberta? The Calgary Flames or the Edmonton Oilers? Now, the last I looked on Twitter, it was 60% Edmonton Oilers. I'm not sure what the YouTube vote is, but again, which is Alberta's best NHL team? The Flames or the Oilers? As we sit here today, the Flames are number 1 in the Western Conference. And I almost feel like we should come back on the other side of this break and debate it more. But we can here, Darren. I'll say this. The Oilers have been coming a lot. They've been on this road longer than the Calgary Flames. So while I don't think the Calgary Flames were a flash in the pan, and all the credit goes to Daryl Sutter, as I said earlier, the Oilers have had, I won't say more playoff success, but I just feel like they're a little higher up that mountain than the Calgary Flames are. However, if they were to meet in the playoffs right now, I might take the Flames to win based solely on Jacob Markstrom and his shutouts and their commitment to defensive play. I'm going to take Calgary as the best NHL team. If they were to play in the playoffs, what's your answer to that poll question?
I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers as the best team in Alberta. And here's why. I mean, you start at the top, McDavid and Draisaitl. You got the 2 best players in that series. You got the best player in the world, and Draisaitl's a great compliment. He's one of the top players in the world as well. Goaltending is the Achilles heel. Stuart Skinner might be the next one, and I know you can't blame him for last night's loss. That was a tough one. Deflections, bad breakaways. Really wasn't on Stuart Skinner. But I like what they've done. Warren Fogle down the middle, adding Derek Ryan. They've added some depth with Zach Hyman. On the back end, they've added depth too, with Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci, who Clark just cringes when I say the name Cody Ceci because Leaf fans just think he's the worst defenseman of all time. But he's playing very well, and he's a good player. So, I take the Oilers.
Interesting. Well, we'll kick that around when we come back. Plus, we'll get into the CFL discussion on a very big week in the Canadian Football League and NFL. You've got your top 5, so I'm very interested to see that. This has been the warm-up for E-Cold Electric, and we'll be right back. We're preempted for the rest of the week today and the next couple of days on Game Plus TV, so tell your friends to come on down to YouTube, where we got the smoke. And we'll be right back after this break. You're also listening live at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at Flame Tech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Safety is a primary pillar at Core Green. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Green Systems a call today.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. Me in South Florida and the Moose in Saskatoon at the Great Western Brewery as they provide our Canadian Olympic curling trials coverage all week long. I just cracked open the viewer comments, Moose, so I'm going to get to a few here before I bring you back in with your points. Ryan H. watching on YouTube says, I'm trying to figure out what I'm more jealous of, Rod, that you get to talk sports for a living or that you get to do it under the Florida sunshine. Jealousy is one of the 7 deadly sins, Ryan. Don't be jealous of anything, but I'm certainly not complaining about it at all either. JJ Voss writes in, says, looking good, looking forward to some Rider talk. JJ, coming up, asking you shall receive. And regarding your vote, Darren, of the Oilers being the best team in Alberta over the Calgary Flames, Chad Bieber watching says, Dupes, they had Draisaitl and McDavid last year. How'd that turn out? How about that?
How about that?
I knew this would happen. And I'm going to move on to the CFL here, other than to say the Flames missed the playoffs last year. I'll handle that one for you, Moose. As we continue quick 6 show topics, we move into the CFL. CFL semifinal Sunday. It's a doubleheader. The viewers yesterday were asking, Rod, are you going to be watching any of the CFL playoff games? Yeah, I'm going to watch 6 hours of it on Sunday. One game's on ESPN News. Another's on, I think, ESPN 2. Doesn't matter. I've been watching the curling trials all morning, and I also watched SportsCenter. And in the case of the Montreal-Hamilton game, you must have seen this, and I assume you watched SportsCenter as well. They asked the coach of the Tiger Cats, Orlando Steinauer, and their MVP, Simone Lawrence, their take on the comments from the Alouettes player, Patrick Levels, guaranteeing a win Sunday in the Eastern semifinal. He guaranteed a Montreal win. Orlando, and I've known him a very long time, like over 20 years, he looked incredibly uncomfortable. Did you see the clip? Like, he didn't even want to answer it. He's like, why are we talking about this? Next question. It's like, what's he supposed to say? Guarantee a loss? Like, so Patrick Levels comes out and starts mouthing off and guaranteeing a win. So what? So what? What was your take on that situation right there?
Yeah, and that's the reaction. I mean, if I'm the coach and I'm in, the press conference and you ask me, okay, Patrick Levels is guaranteed to win, what's your reaction? My reaction is they can say what they want to say. I'm going to prepare my team for the weekend. That's all you're going to get out of it. Not saying, well, he shouldn't be saying this. We actually guarantee a win. We'll see him on the field, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to get that juicy little comment. What's he supposed to say? And Orlando Steinauer is a pro. So, yeah, I can see why, just move on. But we'll see where it goes from there. But, no, you're not going to get anything out of the Ticats.
Probably would have been a good poll question. Was it a stupid thing for Patrick Levels to open his mouth and say this? Because my vote would probably be yes. Now, I've mentioned this on the air before. I'm going to mention it again. Man, time flies, but I'm thinking it was 2014 season. You remember this, when the president of the BC Lions, Dennis Skolsky, guaranteed a victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The BC Lions president guaranteed a victory over Saskatchewan. We all, of course, shoved a microphone in the Rider coach's face, Corey Chamberlain. Oh, how do you feel about this? Oh, no big deal. Did he say it? Did he say it? I didn't see that. No big deal at all. Riders go in and kick their ass in BC Place Stadium. After the game, I walk into the Riders locker room, and every stall had photocopied from the Vancouver province. Lions president Skolsky guarantees, highlighted. Everyone. Chain photocopied it all, taped it in everybody's stall. Oh, we don't care. Did he say it? Did he say it? So, which is fine. But when those fans got upset yesterday saying, oh, Rod, why didn't you watch the Elks news conference? Because I don't believe in what they're saying. I don't put any stock in what they say in the media. And I've given up trying to convince people that you can't go by what you see in the media. But there's an example. I don't know if Orlando Steinauer is going to photocopy that and put it up on the stalls. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. But that was a fun time in Rider history right there.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool. I mean, but that's the way it is. Like, I don't doubt that Orlando Steinauer is sitting there being like, did you see what he did? Are you going to let them walk in to your building and blah, 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 blah? Like, so it absolutely can serve as motivation, but it can serve as motivation for the Montreal Alouettes too. And he, guarantees the win. Then he can go to his locker room and say, look, now we got to go and we got to back it up. So hopefully it adds more fuel to this game in both locker rooms and we end up with a really good game.
Well, thankfully he said it from a marketing hype perspective, because if you want to sit back and look at the game notes and the season series and the numbers, you can, but that doesn't sell tickets like this does. Chris Bird, watching in King City, Ontario, writes in and he says, Levels coming out with that guarantee is a curse. Gives the other side more motivation. I'm 50-50 on that. And certainly we could spend a lot of time on that discussion. Mark Messier, famous guarantee, delivered, scored a hattie against the Devils in Game 7. There's that. Babe Ruth calling his shot, and then he did. Yep. Joe Namath, guaranteed a win and delivered. So, no, I don't necessarily believe that it's a curse, but I don't think it's necessarily smart either. JJ Voss writes in, he says, I think it's great for the league. The players trash talking and heating up the rivalry is great. I don't think the coaches should get involved in that, but it'll get more eyeballs on the screen. And that part's true. I mean, let's be honest. We're now sitting here on Wednesday, and let's talk about that Western semifinal. Calgary Stampeders at Saskatchewan Roughriders, voted Canada's Game of the Week by our viewers of the Rod Pedersen Show. Where is the hype? Now, people are sending me screenshots of the Ticketmaster Mosaic Stadium. They're like, look at all these tickets available. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I'll be watching the game on ESPN2. Go have fun. But I read the stats the CFL sent me, as they always do, the league-wide stats. And if you care, Darren, and I'm sure you do, the Calgary's defense is so slightly better than the Riders. It's like by 5 yards average per game. Calgary's that much. 5 yards given up or not given up, depending on how you look at it. That's how even their defenses are. And offensively, Calgary's offense is actually quite a bit better than the Saskatchewan Roughriders and getting better. And they're the hottest team in the league, winners of 6 of the last 7. So there is no hype, and Bo Levi hasn't said anything, which is fine. But it's very hard to pick a winner in this football game on Sunday. And obviously the Bet Regal odds makers would agree. Riders 1.5 point favorites. I don't know if you've looked at the matchup at all, but it's about as close to a pick 'em as you're going to get.
Well, it really is. It's so close. I mean, flip a coin. And I think what Bet Regal has done too with the odds makers is that home field, you say 3.5 points, but maybe that's all they've decided is that this game's at home and that's going to be enough of a factor. That home crowd in Saskatchewan, when they're going, especially in the fall, is good for about a point a game or a couple of points a game, like a touchdown or a field goal. It's good for something. And it's always good for a couple of penalties too, right? So maybe that's just what tipped the scales in the favor of the odds makers. But you're right. It's a pick 'em game. Flip a coin. When you wake up in the morning, go with what gut instinct you're feeling. Do you think Calgary's going to win today? Are you feeling nervous if you're a Rider fan? Or do you think the Riders are going to win? Go with your gut, because this is as close to a pick 'em as you're going to get this week in the CFL.
So we have hit on something here. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I say a team shouldn't need extra motivation for a playoff game, but it's a stupid thing to do. I just think it's a dumb thing to do. And I get it. Don Matthews, who was the winningest coach all time in the CFL, often said, if you need motivation, if you need bulletin board material to get you up for a game, you're cheating me in all the other games. And that's probably true, but it's human nature. I mean, you and I have talked about this in the past. We've been doubted with this show. It's what gets us up in the morning to shove it down everybody's throat. And furthermore, Clark Gillies, who's going to be on with us in hour 2, Big Jethro. This was the book on him, Darren. I mean, he played long before your time, but when he was a Regina Pat in the 70s and an Islander in the 70s and 80s, this was the book on him. Just let him sleep. Don't take a run at him. Don't wake him up, because the second you do, it's over. You know what I mean? So was Clark Gillies cheating you the other game? No. But sometimes it just let him sleep. And Patrick Levels is not letting the Tiger Cats sleep. He's woken him up. So there's the take on it. Was it a dumb thing to do? I think it probably was a dumb thing to do. Chad Bieber says, what's the over-under? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, you're right. Sometimes you just want to let him sleep, and just, not. Sometimes you want, if he felt that his locker room needed a little push, then maybe he woke up his locker room. And you know what? He'll take the chances of waking up Hamilton's locker room. So maybe that's what was needed too. We don't know.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in Saratoga, New York, says, ugh, please don't remind me of that guarantee in 1994. It still stings. Mark Messier's potentially most famous quote, and maybe the most famous guarantee of all time, was that we will win. It's front cover of the New York Post. And he went in there and scored 3. And they won. From Jim Wagner, writing in on the 902 text line. Go ahead.
That was against New Jersey, right?
Yep.
Against Brodeur, conference semifinal or conference finals, right? So just to give you an idea, now I was a little kid at the time, and I remember watching this at my Nana's house. I can see the flowered little orange chair, right by the TV that I was sitting and spinning around. That 1994 series and the little wraparound, was it Adam Graves on the wraparound between the legs of Martin Brodeur? Yeah. That's my first memory of watching hockey. So Mark Messier, and I don't know if it was Messier, guaranteeing the win, and then I tuned in, but whatever it was, got me watching and set off my whole life of being a hockey fan. So that's my first recollection of ever watching and following hockey. So that stuff works.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. So you'd have been 7 years old because you were born in 87. Okay.
That's right.
Viewers, what was your earliest recollection of watching hockey. And if you want to throw in any other sport, you're more than welcome to. Mine, Ken Dryden, Hockey Night in Canada, Montreal Canadiens in the farmhouse living room with my dad, mom, dad, and brothers, and the Target mask of Ken Dryden, first goalie I ever loved. Anyways, the text line is open, 902-518-3033. Jim Wagner writes in and he says, good morning, RP crew. Spicy show today. Like a beauty taco time burrito. Like a beauty taco time burrito. Thanks, guys. Take care. From Jim Wagner. Bill Durrell in Cochrane, Alberta, writes in, he says, successful CFL franchises embrace their communities. Edmonton's, previous to the fired management, displayed that attitude for decades. Chris Jones is only about Chris Jones. He'll look out for himself above all else. You're not going to get an argument from me on that, but I also know, actually, I'll ask this, Darren, I'll ask you. Who was the head coach of the last Edmonton Grey Cup champion team? Can you tell me?
Chris Jones. And you know what?
Yeah.
And you know what? When it comes to that, you're not paying him to worry about the organization. You're just paying him to worry about winning football games. So unless you're going to make him the president of the team as well, and give him that responsibility, I think you just bring him in to win football games.
Abso-smurfly. For the viewers, when I asked what's your earliest recollection of watching hockey, there's some interesting comments have come in from Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg. He says, earliest recollection of true fandom, crushing disappointment when the Oilers beat the Flyers in the 87 Stanley Cup Finals. Ryan in New York, Game 6, Eastern Conference Final. Then Stefan Matteau broke my heart 2 days later. Oh, that's not his earliest memory then. From Puck and Pigskin podcast and Red Deer, my earliest recollection of watching hockey was the 86 Stanley Cup. Watching the Flames versus the Habs. From Antoine Gwinnett, he says, earliest recollection of hockey, Matt Huber being my favorite hockey player. Who could forget Matt Huber of the Regina Pats? Winnipeg kid, last seen playing for the Columbus Cottonmouths.
How about that?
And from John Ohm, he says, Guy Lafleur was one of my earliest memories on Hockey Night in Canada. How cool is that? And Guy Lafleur, just read a story on him battling lung cancer right now, but surviving, and the fight goes on. Moose, we'll see you back in hour 2. What say you?
See you then.
We're going to talk a little Blue Jays baseball with Mike Wilner when we return. You're watching the RP Show live from South Florida and the Great Western Brewery. That's where Darren is. We're on YouTube live only today and listen live at 24 hours sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. It is episode number 618 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. I want to remind you, brought to you in part this week by Delta Hotels by Marriott, Saskatoon downtown. Well, we got curling going on. We, of course, got hockey going on, CFL playoffs. But you have to have noticed there's a lot of things going on in Major League Baseball free agency, GMs meetings, and so forth. Mike Wilner joins us, longtime host of Jays Talk, now columnist, podcaster with the Toronto Star. Mike, good to chat with you again, sir. And if you don't mind, we wake up today with the news, or at least in the last 24 hours, that Steven Matz is a St. Louis Cardinal. He's the guy that Buck Martinez said on this show would be his number one target to re-sign if you're the Blue Jays. Your thoughts on that move and how it affects Toronto?
Well, I mean, with great respect, he would not have been my number one target to re-sign if I were the Blue Jays. I mean, Steven Matz was the fifth starter for this team who had a rough couple of first months and then really turned it on in July and August and was phenomenal post All-Star break. And yeah, they absolutely wouldn't have gotten to where they were without the second half Steven Matz. But Steven Matz is a guy who had an ERA over 9 in 2020 and didn't, whatever you can think of pitcher wins, didn't have one. And he has a chance to have used this year as a jumping off point and be very good. But I would have been very, very reticent to give him a 4-year commitment at that kind of money. So, yeah, he was lovely for the Blue Jays and had a lovely year, but there are a lot of Steven Matzes out there.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of Robbie Rays out there. And, of course, he won the Cy Young a week ago today, turned down that qualifying offer from the Blue Jays. And what I heard a week ago, and I want your take on this, is that the Blue Jays will be in on everybody in free agency here this offseason. Do you believe that? And they're obviously going to be in on Robbie Ray, but do you think they have enough money to sign him?
Oh, they've got enough money to sign anybody they want. I mean, that's not an issue at all for this team. And they've shown in the last 2 years that they're willing to spend big money and big term. And even, last week when they gave Jose Barrios $131 million over 7 years to stick around. So, yeah, and they've still got plenty of money. So if Robbie Ray wants to be back in Toronto, he will be back in Toronto. But, there could be a team that blows a Blue Jays offer out of the water, as I'm sure St. Louis did to not just the Jays offer, but everybody else's offer. Apparently there were 8 teams that Matz was deciding between as recently as last night. So I'm sure Ray has that many suitors, if not more. Robbie Ray, obviously coming off the Cy Young, but in general has much better stuff and a much better upside, though he's had his problems in the past as well. He may be beyond them. I mean, I talked to him and to others about comparisons to Randy Johnson, other than the foot difference in height between the two of them. The stuff is very similar, and the progression through the major leagues until the age of 30 is also very similar. So, I'm sure that the Blue Jays are interested in having Robbie Ray back. They're interested in having Marcus Semien back. Probably won't be able to get both of them. And again, we have to remember that the free agency process is entirely up to the player. So it really doesn't matter what the Blue Jays do if Robbie Ray or Marcus Semien want to wind up somewhere else.
Well, can you talk about the shift in philosophy, I guess, because it's the same ownership, Mike, but it's new management in the Shapiro-Atkins regime, which isn't new. But with Alex Anthopoulos and the banners that went up in that building in Rogers Center in 15-16, they didn't have the money that these guys have now. What did you think with Alex toting the World Series trophy over his head this year with Atlanta? Did you think what might have been if the Blue Jays let a guy get away, or does it even matter anymore and they can win with what they're doing now?
Well, I think they can win with what they're doing now. And I think that they did have this kind of money when Alex was the general manager. I mean, the payroll, I believe, was higher in 2015 than it was this year. I think that the big shift in philosophy is the long-term contract. And that was something, that was a Paul Beeston rule. Paul Beeston was president of the Blue Jays for a very long time, and they had their greatest successes under him. And one of Paul Beeston's rules was you don't give a pitcher more than 3 years guaranteed, and you don't give anybody more than 5 years guaranteed. And the Blue Jays have broken that rule 3 winters in a row, right? Giving Hyunjin Ryu 4 years, giving George Springer 6, and giving Jose Barrios 7. So that's your change in philosophy there. And hopefully the payroll will rise accordingly to get back to where it was and even beyond where it was in the Alex Anthopoulos days. But if you want to turn the clock back 6 years, I think Alex Anthopoulos was the right guy at the time to take over for Beeston and be the Blue Jays president, and hire Tony LaCava or Andrew Tinish or whoever, Perry Manassian underneath him to work as a general manager. And I think that the Blue Jays could have had a great deal of sustained success under Alex Anthopoulos. Now, the core at the time was aging, and there would have had to have been some sort of tear down. And to Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins's credit, the teardown that they did only lasted one terrible year. It was 2019 when they lost 95 games. And right now they're in position to be one of the better teams in the major leagues, just like they were in 15 and 16 and in the early 90s. So Shapiro and Atkins came with a plan. They've executed the plan. And to this point, it's worked, I think, at a greater pace than they imagined it would.
Outstanding. Well, making the playoffs in a COVID-shortened year and going down to the final day this year. And I just wonder if George Springer had been able to play more, Mike, in 2021, I know it would have registered more wins, and they would have been at least a wild card game, maybe higher. How do you typify or describe this first season for George Springer with the Toronto Blue Jays?
I mean, I did Blue Jays report cards at the end of the season, and I think I gave him an incomplete because he barely played half a season. I don't think he played half a season. Yeah. But the half season that he played was outstanding. You know, he put up some phenomenal numbers. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think he hit 20 home runs, 20-something home runs in less than half a season. He had an OPS over 900. He played a very good center field. So, you know, when he was on the field, it was a success. He just wasn't on the field enough. And that's the issue. And, of course, had George Springer been able to play more, the Blue Jays would have won another game or two. And, you know, but you can go back and pick all kinds of things. If they had gotten Adam Simber a month earlier, if they had called up Alek Manoah a month earlier, all sorts of things that get you that one win. But the thing is, with the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mariners, there's also the story of all these things could have happened that would have gotten these teams one more win. So, you play the way you play, and the season unfolds the way it unfolds. And the Blue Jays were the best fourth place team in baseball history this year. And unfortunately for them, they, played the second most difficult schedule in all of baseball. And fell one game short, but off a team that, again, lost 95 the last time there was a 162-game season. It was a dramatic and drastic improvement and a phenomenal finish for them.
Well, Mike, that's what makes you so good. You're the first one that I've heard say the best fourth-place team in MLB history, and I think you're right. And you're also right about every team thinks about the games that got away. Yeah, no doubt. Mike, we got to roll, but I appreciate the time here, man, and hopefully we can do it once the pitchers and catchers report.
Hopefully the pitchers and catchers report before April. Yeah, that would be great.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Wilner joining us, Blue Jays podcaster, columnist from the Toronto Star. TacoTime viewer takeover is coming up. Clark Gillies coming up in hour 2. You're watching the RP Show on YouTube Live, Game Plus Television Network, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds. Feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Safety is a primary pillar at Core Green. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Green Systems a call today.
Gotta shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of prime. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Not a lot of time here in this segment for TacoTime Viewer Takeover. By the way, TacoTime's signature hot sauce is made in-house daily. And here's one thing I love about TacoTime. And we got to talk more with Moose about this next hour. But every time I go, they ask, how many sauces would you like, sir? I'm like, 5. Don't even bat an eye. Here you go. Load them up. Although I liked it before when they gave you just the container. It was like a half a container. But they never questioned how much hot sauce you want. And that's a TacoTime thing. News this morning, if I had my bell, I'd ring it. Quarterback Zach Collaros of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers has plenty of familiar company on the West Division CFL All-Star team. Collaros was among 15 Blue Bombers named to the squad today, conducted by members of the Football Reporters of Canada and the 9 CFL head coaches. Joining Collaros on the West Division offense are Winnipeg receivers Kenny Lawler, Nick Dembski, guards Drew Desjardins and Patrick Newfield, and tackles Stanley Bryant and Jermarcus Hardrick. So basically the entire Winnipeg Blue Bombers offensive line. How about that? Calgary Stampeders have 7 players on. Calgary Stampeders has 7 players on the squad, including Australian-born punter Cody Grace. Linebacker Simone Lawrence topped the list of 10 Hamilton Tiger Cats named to the East Division squad. First place, Toronto Argonauts had 7 players named. The offensive selections were quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson, receiver Curley Gittins Jr., and center Peter Nicastro. Busy night for Canadian NHL teams. The Habs are in Washington, taking on the Capitals. The Canucks face the Penguins in Pittsburgh, and the Jets battle the Blue Jackets in Columbus. Later on, the Oilers visit the Coyotes. Kings entertain the Leafs. Sharks host the Sens. 14 NHL games tonight. Raptors continue their 6-game road trip when they visit the Grizzlies. Toronto coming off a 119-104 loss to the Warriors on Sunday, while the Grizzlies edged the Jazz 119-118 on Monday. This sports update is for Ballers Rec Room. Last minute of play in hour 1. For Ballers Rec Room, book your group or business Christmas party now. For the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Asking our viewers, what was your first recollection of watching hockey? Moose said earlier his was the 94 Stanley Cup Playoffs Eastern Final. Jeff Caldwell, watching in Oregon, says the 1986 Stanley Cup Finals and Lanny McDonald's mustache. Bill, watching in Cochrane, Alberta, says the thing that hooked me into hockey was watching Jacques Plante and Bernie Parent backstop a fairly average 72 Leafs team. Many amazing saves. From DG in Saskatoon says, morning, guys. Stéphane Matteau scored the goal that Darren's talking about. We'll keep that rolling into hour 2. What's your earliest recollection of watching hockey? We'd love to know. Moose will be with us after this break, and Clark Gillies. Stick around. You're watching the RP Show on YouTube Live.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
For the Canadians that don't know, and I think people should, U.S. Thanksgiving is Thursday. And the rule of thumb, Darren, is U.S. Thanksgiving is like the cutoff line where you know what you have or you don't have.
Vegas and the Islanders. We talked about the Islanders yesterday and Vegas. Is this who these teams are? We don't want to accept that because it's so early, but it's U.S. Thanksgiving.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome inside hour 2 of the RP Show. It's brought to you by Great Western's Original 16 Beer. There's a look at the brewery, and that's where the Moose is residing for most of the week here. Great Western's Original 16 Beer brings you hour 2 of the program. Core Grain as well brings you coverage of the Tim Hortons Canadian Curling Trials also going on in Saskatoon. Core Grain doing the right thing for your farm. And I busted out my Core Grain golf shirt. Man, everything is going on. I feel like Bob Cole here. Everything is happening. They're mowing the lawn over my shoulder. There's a FedEx office right in behind me here. And we're getting through it. We bring Moose in. We haven't seen him in a while. What's been shaking at the brewery, Moose, for the last 20 minutes since I saw you last? Some curling talk, some hockey talk. What? What's pop?
Oh, yeah. And the folks around here want to talk about the curling, too. So I know they were down there. Yeah. Michael and the group were down there, so I was chatting with him a little bit. And, we're talking a lot about Matt Dunstone and, what's gone wrong and, how's he doing and how's he handling it. And, the action's been really good. They were actually down there this morning a little bit, just got back to the office. So we were kind of debriefing on the morning draws and they're pretty excited. So we're going to go back down and I'll catch up with these guys a little bit later on in the day. And so that's kind of the buzz around here right now.
Yeah, well, I see the Great Western is all over an Original 16, the Tim Hortons Curling Trials in Saskatoon. So good on them. That does not surprise me one bit. By the way, hey, the lid is open on whatever the viewers want to talk about. TacoTime, viewer takeover. It's so great because, frankly, I've been doing talk for many years, and I know that just let the viewers take over. Let the listeners take over. They will dictate what we want to talk about, and then you know that you're giving them what they want. And when you said earlier your earliest recollection of watching hockey was the 1994 Stanley Cup playoffs, Eastern Conference Final, Mark Messier calling his shot in Game 7. And for those that just tuned in for hour 2, by the way, you don't know how we got on that. Patrick Levels of the Montreal Alouettes, outstanding defensive back, is guaranteed to win for the Alouettes in Hamilton on Saturday. Nobody thinks they'll do it. They're just kind of patting him on the head. I think people thought Mark Messier would do it, and he did. I'm not sure Patrick Levels was he going to go put up a three-banger of interceptions and win the game? Is that football's a harder sport, don't you think, Darren, to call a shot in? Mind you, again, Joe Namath did it, but it'd be a harder sport, I would think, to do out of all of them.
Especially for a defensive player, because you don't control any of the points that get scored. It's like, saying I'm going to, in hockey do it, but I'm never going to touch the puck. So how do I guarantee a win when I'm never going to touch the puck? I mean, you're right. Maybe it's 3 picks. Maybe they're all going to be pick sixes. I don't know. Maybe it's just, a leader speaking for his team. And that's okay too. That'd be similar to a coach doing it. But yeah, a lot harder in football, I would think, than in hockey.
2007 Grey Cup, James Johnson did do that. 3 interceptions for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in a victory, but he didn't guarantee the win.
I was going to say, he didn't call the game first.
No, maybe he should have. Metal Shingle Guy is watching, and he writes in on the text line at 902-518-3033. He says, well, Rod, 1970 Boston Bruins Stanley Cup win. Bobby Orr flying through the air. Or 1972 Summit Series, Canada-Russia. School shut down for the last game. That's how big it was. Chased the Russians off the ice in that series. I think that was a different series. But you may be right, but I think that was 1976 when Bob Cole famously yelled, "They're going home." I just heard that the other day somewhere. Somebody was playing that clip. It was 76. Russian Red Army came and on an NHL tour playing the Philly Flyers, and they literally ran them off the ice. The Russians like, we're out of here. Screw this.
That's outstanding.
I know, right? So the rock star of the day yesterday was Ozzie Weisblatt of the Prince Albert Raiders, the first-round pick of the San Jose Sharks. I just want to throw that out there right now. We do the rock star of the day every day here on the RP Show, and we love us some Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. Out here in the Eastern time zone, Darren, we're well into the afternoon, so I want to tell you something. If we can get the moose. Oh, yeah, you were doing that. Get him on there. I got you. You're getting the guitar across the screen. There are 14 NHL games tonight. As we look at the featured game tonight, which has become a thing, I will ask all our viewers, whether you're watching on YouTube or you want to text us on the text line, what's your featured game tonight? Maybe it's Tim Hortons curling trials. Maybe it's NBA, Toronto at Memphis. But here's mine. Clark was talking to the Florida Panthers this morning, and as was I. Here's the deal tonight. The Philadelphia Flyers are in town, Darren. 7 o'clock face-off against the Panthers, America's team, at FLA Live Arena. Here's what you need to know. The game can be viewed on Bally Sports Florida or listened to on WQAM. Tonight, we celebrate Thanksgiving early at FLA Live Arena by offering fans discounted Yuengling, Corona, and other domestic products at all concession stands. I will not be taking part. Tonight, Broward County Department of Health is hosting a vaccine pop-up at FLA Live Arena where fans can receive their first, second, or booster of the COVID-19 vaccine. So it's still a thing. And I might add, tonight's City Furniture military hero is Larry Roberts. Tonight's hero among us is Larry Roberts, who served a total of 30 years in the United States military, which included deployments in support of the Vietnam War and Desert Storm. He is the recipient of the National Defense Service Medal with 1 star, Southwest Asia Service Medal with 2 stars, and the Good Conduct Medal with 4 stars. That's what we'll be watching tonight with the Philadelphia Flyers in town against the Florida Panthers. Doesn't that just make you want to go to the game? Could you imagine the vibe in there, Moose, just listening to that?
Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it'll be a really, really cool environment and trying to tie that record, right, for a home winning streak.
Exactly. To start the season. Now, I want to point something else out, too. I was telling you this morning in my morning phone call about the reaction that I get when I tweet about NHL games. I think people need to realize the direction of the show and the response that we're getting. And so last night I watched the Philadelphia Flyers lose 4-0 in Tampa Bay. Watched the game. Dave Randorf called it. And I'm like, everybody's all over Carter Hart. And this was the first time that I've really been able, or actually I've been able lots, but this is the first time I took the opportunity to sit down and watch the Philadelphia Flyers. And I'm like, and then I went and looked up the stats. They have the second worst goal differential, plus minus, in the Metropolitan Division. And I'm like, how can you blame Carter Hart? And I apologize to the viewers and listeners because I'm going to get a little technical here right now. But they don't even try to play defense in Philly at all. It's just brain farts left and right. And when they're killing penalties last night, Darren, I think you said you coached hockey. I know you coach football. If you're playing a standard box, 2 high guys, you cover the point men, 2 low guys, cover the forwards down low as much as you can. And last night, the 2 guys on the right side of the box both went to the point, left a guy open in the corner. He walks out, pass across the goal mouth, boom, gone, goal. Carter Hart's like, what just happened? And that's in a penalty kill situation. Defensively, turning over the pucks left and right. And I just wonder how long Alain Vigneault. Now, they're a middling hockey team, and I'm interested to see how they play tonight, which is another thing. The Panthers really have a benefit. I don't know if you buy into this or not. Last night, Flyers are at Tampa. Tonight, they're in Florida here in Sunrise. Friday night, the Seattle Kraken are in Tampa. Saturday night, they play at Florida, the Kraken, and I'll be at the game when Jordan Eberle and crew come to town. Are you a believer in that's an advantage for the Panthers anymore on back-to-back nights? Or are we in an age now of BioSteel and rest and the creature comforts that these teams have, that's not a thing anymore like it used to be? The travel and getting a team on back-to-back nights.
Well, using it as an excuse for teams is no longer something that happens, right? And, I'm not saying that they did in the past, but I think it's less and less of an issue because the conditioning is so much better. But no, it plays a factor for sure. Like now you're in a situation where you don't want to play your starting goaltender on back-to-back nights. So you're going to end up with a backup probably, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. So there is something to be said there. It's not going to be a huge drop-off in terms of the effort you're going to get, but it plays an advantage. They're traveling a little bit on the bus. Now they're not going to fly. I don't think they would fly from Tampa to Sunrise, right? I think they got to take the bus probably, and it's not that far, a few hours.
3.5 hours. Who knows? Tough call.
Yeah, I don't know how they would. Tough call. I don't know how they would travel that, but either way, it's a little bit of an advantage for the Panthers, but not a huge one.
Comments just going crazy on this. Curtis Fallman says, Carter Hart won't make Team Canada. And I'm saying, listen, Hockey Canada has their scouts everywhere. So they're not going to go by the numbers. They're going to see the way Philly does not commit to defense. Steve-O's, and that does not point the finger at Carter Hart. Steve-O's channel, that's the YouTube commenter. Steve-O's channel says Philly was one of the most disappointing teams last year, and it looks like the same thing this year. And by the way, on the score app, it says the projected goalies, the expected starters tonight are for the Florida Panthers, Bob Sergei Bobrovsky. Say it, guys. Bob's your uncle. And Carter Hart for the Philly Flyers. So I hope that Carter, because I really would like to watch him live again. It's been a while. I haven't seen him play live in person since he was in Everett. And I'll say one more. And this is our segue. Guys, get Moose's top 5 NFL power rankings ready to go here, because it's like Carter Hart. How do you malign him for the 18 skaters in front of him and the way they play or don't play defense? It's a little like an article I was reading today. Mac Jones with New England has been the best quarterback of the 5 in this year's first-round class. But if you put Trevor Lawrence on the Patriots, would he have led him to a 5-game winning streak? Or if you put Mac Jones on the Jaguars, would Mac Jones be as miserable as Trevor Lawrence has been in his rookie season in the National Football League? See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. It's all about fit. It's all about situation. It's all about, all of these things have to come together. Peyton Manning ended up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't think Ryan Leaf ever would have been. But if you switch spots and you end up having a little bit better transition, a little bit better entry point, if you're playing with Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, you probably have a little bit better opportunity to have success, Same with Tom Brady. If he goes in the first round to a different place, maybe he goes to San Fran, maybe he goes to, the San Diego Chargers at the time, and is forced to play right away. And maybe Tom Brady's never Tom Brady. Situation matters so much in sports, and we don't really think about it.
From a viewer, Chad Bieber writes in and says, dark horse backup goalie for Canada, Tristan Jarry. We're going down a road that I want to go down, but didn't think we were going to go down. Are we going to have a camp?
At least you like it.
For Canada? Are we having a camp? Because that's what I would like. I saw the names of 6 goalies that could be invited. Are we having a camp, Darren, and we're going to decide who's the best out of, or is this predetermined when they name the Olympic roster?
I think there's going to be something. I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to look it up. I would hope that there would be some sort of a camp leading up to it. You've got to get them on the ice. You've got to get them together. There will be a camp of some kind. You're not just going to rip them from your team and send them to the Olympics like an all-star game. You've got to get them ready to go.
Well, I would like to think that they'd get together and practice before they went to Beijing. But what I'm saying is an actual camp with 6 goalies and 45 players to decide a 22-man roster going over. Is that going to be a thing? And they're not going to have preseason games. They're going to have pre-tournament games over in Beijing, but the team's picked by then.
I digress. Soon.
I will float this around the media room tonight at FLA Live Arena. What did I tell you? This is what I'm looking forward to the most. Hopefully, being part of a community in the media room at Florida Panthers games, similar to what I enjoy in the Brand Center in Regina with God's team. By the way, the CHL top 10 are out. We're going to talk about that and more. But let's talk about Darren's top 5 NFL power rankings right now. I'm very interested to see them. And by the way, The Athletic came out with theirs today, Moose. So I'd like to see how they jive coming out of Week 11. What's your NFL top 5?
Well, let's take a look at them here. Guess what? The Chiefs are up into the top 5. They're back. I think they've won 4 in a row now.
Ding, 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 ding.
The biggest area that's gotten better for the Chiefs, their defense has gotten better. Really good. There's been an emphasis there. They're letting them attack the football. So I like that. Patriots, longest winning streak in the National Football League. Mac Jones isn't just managing the game. He's making plays. Their offensive line is one of the best in football, and their defense is playing really well. Titans are still number 3. They dropped from number 1 to number 3. You know what? You can't discount the wins they've had. 7-0 against playoff teams from last year. The game against Houston, you have to forget about it. It's an anomaly. It was full of mistakes. It was raining. It wasn't the Houston Texans beating Tennessee. It was Tennessee beating Tennessee. But they got to win next week or they'll be out of the top 5. Green Bay coming off a loss to Minnesota. I like the Packers because they're in every game. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are still elite. And then the Arizona Cardinals just continue to win with Colt McCoy as their starting quarterback. Their defense is still really good. They're making plays. And when they get Kyler Murray back and DeAndre Hopkins, I think they're going to start mowing teams down. So I really like them. Dallas drops off. Yes, it was due to injuries a lot. Buffalo's not close right now. But Baltimore's still close. There's still a couple teams that are right there. But that's my top 5 this week.
How about that? I like it. But I would say this. Where the Bucks? I'll just say the Athletics top 5, and that's what's fun about these polls. Yeah, Arizona's number 1. You guys got that the same. But they've got the 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 2. Green Bay Packers number 3. Rams and Chiefs tied for number 4. And then your Titans 6th. By the way, my cousin Christina Medicine Hat says, yay, Cards. That's my team. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, it's hard to say what would happen if Tom Brady went to a different team, but you can't deny his driver talent. I'll say to Wayne and to all and sundry, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been a dumpster fire since 2003. Veritable NFL wasteland till Tom Brady showed up, and within a year, turned them into Super Bowl champions. But he's different. He's different than everybody else. Moose, don't move. We'll be back with more. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by Great Western's Original 16 Beer and Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. It's the RP Show on a Wednesday, not on Game Plus this week, but you're watching live on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds. Feeling the air. It's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama. I live for the emotion. No one can take me down. Bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Safety is a primary pillar at Green. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Grain Systems a call today.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us today. Hey, our curling coverage of the Tim Hortons Curling Trials is brought to you by Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm and for Great Western's Original 16 beer. Brad Gushue remained unbeaten at Canada's Olympic Curling Trials after posting a 9-4 victory over Matt Dunstone this morning at SaskTel Center. Gushue scored a first-stand deuce and was in full control to improve to 5-0 in round-robin play. In other early games, Kevin Cooey outscored Brendan Botchard 9-7. Jason Gunlison dropped the 7-5 decision to Brad Jacobs, and Mike McEwen edged Tanner Horgan 6-5. Jacobs was alone in second at 4-1 with McEwen and Cooey right behind at 3-1. John Epping, who was idle for the morning session, was in fifth place at 2-2. The top three teams at the end of round-robin play Friday night will advance to the weekend playoffs. A women's draw was set for this afternoon, and the men scheduled to return tonight. The winners of Sunday's finals will represent Canada at the February 4th to 20th Beijing Olympics. And I appreciate everybody being part of our discussion here today, including that guy that's doing lawn maintenance over there. Do you hear him, Moose? Can you hear him? Or is this mic even picked? Can you hear him?
No, I don't. Maybe if I listen real close.
Oh, that's good.
I saw the recycling truck
Jordan
going
tells me no.
you about
You did?
40 minutes ago.
Oh, well, you saw the video when you were on. I was on our morning meeting today. It is absolutely glorious down here doing the show barefoot. And when I say thanks to those for chiming in and being part of the discussion, the biggest Philly Flyer fan I know, Pinks, one of our P1s, says Martin Jones will start tonight in goal for the Philadelphia Flyers. So I'm not even going to be able to see Carter Hart. Man, I can watch him in warmies, though.
Yeah,
I'll try to get down to FLA Live Arena in time to watch warm-ups and just get a feel for Carter Hart. See how he performs when he knows he's not starting. See if it makes a difference. And our content creator, Nelson, is watching, Nelson Vo, regarding are we going to have a camp. He sent me, I don't know where he found it, a screenshot of Donald Fear's letter, the NHLPA head, to the players. And I said, what's the Cole's notes on this? And he says the countries have to submit a long list of players potentially on the roster, which is where the 6 goalie list came from. The team is picked from those guys, and they'll go straight to Beijing. No warm-up games or camp. Now, for the ardent hockey viewers out there, more so than me and you, I got to think this is just a COVID thing, right? Wouldn't you think that's what it is? COVID? If it was a normal year, would they have an actual, Hockey Canada ID camp like they normally do for the World Juniors?
This is pew, pew, pew. This is the Wild West, man. Like, let's just go. Let's just go get in a van. Let's get to Beijing, and then let's just go play hockey. We'll just make up the lines in the dressing room before the game. You play together. You play together, and let's just go. I mean, I remember, the first Olympic. I mean, not Nagano in '98. I kind of watched a little bit of that. Gretzky sitting on the bench, Shanahan, Hasek, right? But for me, I really got into it in 2002. And for me, that's the best hockey that I remember, right? That's all my heroes. I collected all the cards, the booklets from the ESSO or the Petro Canada for the 2010 games. And then I got the DVD, and it was Canadian Gold Rush or whatever, the double gold women and men. And it was all about the making of that team. Gretzky being part of the group, picking that group. They had a summer evaluation camp, really went through it. They had a summit where they brought players in for meetings and team building and bonding, and then they had the actual training camp and went off, did the pre-games, and then ended up winning the gold medal. I don't think we're getting any of that this time around.
No. And I think at some point, not today, because I got other things lined up to talk about, we really need to have this discussion about who's going to be the goalies for Team Canada. And I just saw an article move across the news wire about Sidney Crosby saying he's not confident, or not confident, but he's not expecting necessarily to be a slam dunk to play for Canada. They already named their 3 players, right? It was McDavid, McKinnon, and Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
So Sid's saying maybe this is it. Maybe it's time to pee on the fire.
He's just being diplomatic. Sidney Crosby is like Gretzky in terms of he's going to have a spot on this team as a leader. And even if he doesn't play a lot, he's going to have a spot on this team. And they're still penciling in that line. They were forever. It was Crosby with Bergeron and Marchand, the 2 Boston Bruins with Sidney Crosby that have had so much success together at international play. We're still just feels like we're penciling those 3 in as automatics just because we like what they bring to the table. But no, and this Canada team is going to look different than Team Canada's in the past. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
By the way, speaking of international hockey, I will point out text messages from our viewers who have pointed out when I was right. I won't read the ones where they say where I was wrong. But Metal Shingle Guy brought up the 72 Summit Series was his earliest recollection of hockey. And he said when they chased the Russians off the ice. And I said, no, that was different. That was Bob Cole announcing they're going home. Russian Red Army playing a tour of NHL teams, different circumstance. And Metal Shingle Guy, to his credit, writes in and says, yep, you're correct, 1976. And I might have to preface that by saying I wasn't watching live that night. Just as a hockey fan and aficionado, I remember the incident. Interesting Cousin Christine watching in Medicine Hat. She says Connor Bedard's goal on TSN this morning. The Pats beat the Tigers. No surprise. How about that?
How about that?
Didn't want to say it. But the Pats, Cole Carrier scored 3 goals last night, and the Pats are unbeaten under John Paddock. I mean, and the goal by Bedard last night is on our Instagram story. Nice work on that, Nelson. But to be honest, have you seen it, Darren? It's not that special. I've seen more special Connor Bedard goals than that. Your thoughts?
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking the exact same thing when I watched it. I'm like, they're like, oh my God, what a goal. I saw the WHL tweeted, Connor Bedard doing Bedard-like things. I'm like, this is just a shot from the circle, man. Like, this isn't like a Bedard split the D, come in, tip it, tap it. You know, it was still a nice goal. It was a great goal. It was, but no, it didn't make me jump out of my seat.
No, but Bedard found the score sheet. The Pats win, and Bob's your uncle. Which, by the way, I'm just looking up the story here. Cole Carrier scored 3 goals in less than 4 minutes, and the Regina Pats routed the Medicine Hat Tigers 6-2 on Tuesday. Yeah. The CHL Top 10 is out, and I wanted to mention that. So I thank those that wrote in about the Bedard goal. It got me thinking about this. And I get it from Brian Munns, the outstanding voice of the Winnipeg Ice. And this guy just looks after us so well with information. He is broadcaster and media guy of the year as far as I'm concerned. Can we go with a drum roll? Can we get one, some sound effect? Let's go. Maybe the goal horn or the quick 6 horn. Let's go. Week 8, CHL, nice. Week 8, CHL Top 10. 4 weeks in a row. The Winnipeg Ice are the number 1 team in all of Canadian junior hockey. The Winnipeg Ice. Number 2, the Everett Silvertips, as you see it up on the screen. Number 3, the Kamloops Blazers. Number 4, the Edmonton Oil Kings. There's been some shifting here now that I think about it compared to last week. Number 5, the London Knights. Number 6, Charlottetown Islanders. Number 7, Sherbrooke Phoenix. They've been in it every week. Number 8, the Mississauga Steelheads. Number 9, North Bay Battalion. Number 10, the Rimouski Oceanic, the alma mater of Sidney Crosby. And honorable mentions, which aren't on that list, but they go to the Kingston Frontenac, the Gatineau Olympique, and the Red Deer Rebels. How about that? I don't see one for God's team, the Regina Pats. I don't see an honorable mention for them. But there's your CHL Top 10, and it seems to me, Darren, that people are getting excited about junior hockey up there, although right now probably not a ton of talk about the Saskatoon Blades, but I got to ask you this. Since you are at the Great Western Brewery right now, part of our Hour 2 coverage for Great Western Original 16 beer, any talk about the Saskatchewan Rush, who are in training camp and getting ready to open the season first week of December?
Yeah, they're pretty excited for that around here, too. They really are. We're seeing that not only in this town, but in this building. So they're talking about it. I see it when I walk into the building. There you go. See? Hi. How are you? But, okay. Anyways, no, it's the rush is coming. It's coming soon. I'm distracted now. I'm sorry. But speaking of that top 10, though, really quickly, West is best. Top 4 teams in the country are from the WHL. So take a bow, WHL.
Absolutely. And it was, I hope that we get back to normal here. I somewhat feel like we are. But talking to Ozzy Weisblatt yesterday of the Prince Albert Raiders, I'm like, you guys are still the defending champions of the Western Hockey League. This spring will mark 3 years since they won the championship. As I go to the text line, and we'll have to put this photo up a little later on, but Jeff Caldwell writes in from Prineville, Oregon. He says, it's taco time in Prineville, Oregon. Check this one off my list. The guy's hitting every taco time in the state of Oregon.
Hey, get him a gift card.
I was gonna mention this. Yeah, I think we got to get this guy a gift card. Can you inform your friends at Taco Time? It needs to be in U.S. funds. This guy's going really hard after the Taco Time comment of the week. There's the photo from Prineville, Oregon today. Jeff Caldwell went to that Taco Time. Tell us what you had. Tell us what you had, Jeff. But Darren, there was a note that came from the TacoTime people. Do you have it in front of you by chance? You were waving it on our conference call the other day. You probably don't have it in front of you.
Hey, Rod and team. It said, thanks for everything you do for us, right? And it was a note, and it had all the pins and stickers and some really cool stuff in it. So they just wanted to say thanks. It was from Jessica.
Outstanding. How about that? Well, I hope that keep those around for when I'm back in the area. The poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. We got to get to this. Which is the better Alberta NHL team? And I do have to say the Calgary Flames came out of nowhere. They've got 3 more points than the Edmonton Oilers. They lead the Western Conference. They're in first place. But on Twitter, 59% of respondents saying the Oilers are still the better team in Alberta right now, today. That's on Twitter. I don't know if Clark has he says pretty much the same. 57% voting for the Edmonton Oilers as the number 1 Alberta NHL team. I guess as we sit here today, I'll say it's the Calgary Flames based on their record. You're saying the Edmonton Oilers because they have better players, but better top-end players. But if they're meeting starting Saturday in a best-of-7, who's winning? Because we've had a lot of responses from the viewers on Twitter saying, well, that's a better question would be who would win a series. Well, that's not our question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. But let's put it that way. Because of Jacob Markstrom, I might say the Flames would win a playoff series between the two. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, probably. It all depends if Mike Smith comes back healthy and what he looks like when he comes back. That's, for me, the X factor. What I like is, the Oilers' top-end players, but I think they've added enough depth pieces. Ryan, Fogle. Now they've got Zach Hyman up higher in their lineup than just a depth role player. But I think they've rounded out their lineup. I think Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci have rounded out that defensive group too. So I think they're more than just a top-end team. That's why I like the Oilers right now. But you're right. Goaltending's a huge question mark. And when things dry up offensively and when things get tight, can they keep the puck out of the net? That'll be the biggest question. And for that reason, I think you're right maybe in a series today. But overall, I think the Oilers are trending in the right direction to be the team that comes out of Alberta.
Well, the General's watching in Calgary. He says the standings prove it. Flames are the best. And as Bill Parcells said it first and John Frenzy made it famous, your record is what you are.
Hot take.
So I guess as of today, maybe it is the Calgary Flames. John in Edmonton says, nope, Oilers are better. Oh, my God, we could sit here all day. Nana, nana, boo-boo. Go back and forth between fans of both teams and never come up with an answer. I just hope they meet come playoff time. Moose, we'll see you back here for overtime. What say you?
Sounds good.
Oh, okay. Moose is going to stick with us. Clark Gillies. So I guess we're going to get into overtime next, and Clark Gillies will join us for the final segment here today. So we'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Going with the flow here on Canada's daytime sports talk show. Clark Gillies, God willing, will be with us next segment. Now, he's pushed it back. Clark says that it won't be a problem. If we can bring the Moose back on, he remains with us from the Great Western Brewery in Saskatoon. And say hey to all my friends up there, Moose, which I know you have. Such great supporters of ours. Jeff Caldwell in Prineville, Oregon. You know, he said that he's going every taco time in Oregon on behalf of us. And I said, what'd you have? So he's written us back. Do you want to know what he had?
Yeah, I do.
Super soft taco with Mexi fries and a Coke.
Spicy.
Okay.
I like it.
Now, what do we think about that?
Right on.
Super soft taco with Mexi fries and a Diet Coke. That's
no, a regular Coke. No, diesel.
10.
Not diet. No.
Oh, straight up. No, 6.2 then out of 10. A
Diesel.
Approved.
He's just making me wonder if I should change up my order at Taco Time or not. I've been going with the same thing since high school. You've witnessed it. You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Crisp meat burrito, beef and cheese burrito, large Maxi fries, large Diet Coke, large Pepsi, sorry. Approved.
I
wanted to say another thing. I don't know how or why, but my cousin Christine at Medicine Hat checks in and says, any Canadian team winning the cup would be excellent. That's a really good point. We thought Montreal obviously had a chance last year going to the Stanley Cup final against Tampa Bay, and as it turns out, they never had a chance at all. They were never really in that Stanley Cup final, losing in 5-2 the Tampa Bay Lightning. But as we look at these featured games again, and I'll say it again, I'm so excited to tonight be attending the Philadelphia Flyers at Florida Panthers. Upset that Carter Hart isn't going to play for Philly, but you can't have everything. Going to get on the I-95 here pretty soon. Get down and beat this Thanksgiving traffic because tomorrow is U.S. Thanksgiving. That's my featured game tonight, but there are 14 games in the National Hockey League, and we are hoping to get Clark Gillies on to talk about the one in the brand new facility in Long Island, Islanders Rangers. But your Leafs are at L.A. tonight, Darren, and I'm following enough of the NHL to know this would be the first, if I'm right, of a West Coast road trip for Toronto. How do you feel about this?
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's a good place to start. Why not get all the way over there and then work your way back? I like it. It'll be another interesting test for Toronto. See if they can keep things rolling here, 8-2 in their last 10. I'm kind of into that battle in New York too. You talk about games of the night. It'll be Toronto, LA for me, but Rangers Islanders is always a lot of fun too. But no, for the Leafs, yeah, getting out to a quick start on the road like that, especially when you're going all the way crisscrossing the continent like that, all the way across to the other corner, getting out to a quick start is going to be really important.
I don't think people understand. They really don't. I mean, fans are going to be fans, but I don't think they understand about what going on the road means. Like for these Islanders, yeah, they opened up with 13 straight on the road, and they've struggled 5-8-2 so far. But I know for a fact, having been the voice of teams for a combined 37 seasons, 20 with the Roughriders, 17 in the Western League. And you know yourself, they relish the opportunity to get out onto the road. Yeah, you don't always get along with everybody. That's human nature. That's life. But you get to know your teammates. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It just seems like fans, they're on the road. They're going to lose every road game because they're going on the road. It was like 2 seasons ago when the Saskatchewan Roughriders had 3 road games in October because the NHL Heritage Classic was coming in to play at Mosaic Stadium. John Frenzy, 3 in a row on the road, all in the West Division. That's adversity. They won them all, if you recall, propelling them to a 13-5 record.
Yeah, home ice advantage isn't the advantage it used to be. I mean, it was, and traveling on the road was a pain, and it was long trips, and it usually meant lots of nights out, and it usually meant hitting the bars. So you weren't only just playing all these games on the road, you were hungover, you weren't eating home-cooked meals, you're eating in restaurants where it's not as nutritious.
We lost him? Okay. We've lost Darren. Okay, yeah, we're going to go to a break. Actually, pause. Hopefully Moose does not try and log in again. I just want to do a quick sports update here. The Montreal Canadiens are in Washington, kicking off a busy night in the NHL for Canadian teams. 14 games in all. Jets in Columbus. Oilers at Arizona. Leafs at LA, as we mentioned, and the Sens at San Jose. Another Bradley has been charged with reviving Toronto FC after a disappointing MLS season. Toronto FC has named Bob Bradley head coach and sporting director. That came down this morning. The Toronto Raptors are back in action tonight in Memphis. Winners of just 2 of their last 9. The Raptors have struggled with injuries. OG Anunoby is questionable again for tonight's game with a hip injury. And Brad Gushue and Tracy Fleury take perfect records into today's round-robin play at Canada's Olympic curling trials in Saskatoon. Rachel Homan, meanwhile, is one of 5 women's skips looking to avoid a 4th loss that would essentially shut down any hope of the playoffs. Saskatchewan's Matt Dunstone losing again this morning, dropping to 0-4. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca, your number 1 source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis, and for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars. Clark Gillies joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Your family needs a break. Delta Hotels Saskatoon welcomes you to our newly renovated hotel and water park. You deserve a vacation close to home. Enjoy world-class hospitality and upscale surroundings. Rediscover Saskatoon. You can enjoy time away from home right in your own city. The kids will love the water slide. Delta Hotels Saskatoon downtown. All the essentials and then some.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Safety is a primary pillar at Core Green. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Green Systems a call today.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Absolutely. And Overtime is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. It's football week at the Palace. American Thanksgiving triple header on Thursday. Super Sunday, CFL Division semifinals. Big screen. No need to ask to have the CFL games put on. Plus 11 NFL Sunday games. We love sports. Go Riders. Go Vikings. That from the Greek freak, Georgi Yanitsos. Well, New York, as always, is the epicenter of everything. But really in NHL circles today, as we welcome in Clark Gillies, our good and longtime friend, Hockey Hall of Famer, four-time Stanley Cup champion, Memorial Cup champion. Clarky, hey, great to see you as always, my man. And I'm going to jump right into it. 7 Islanders in COVID protocol, but they're going to try and give it a go tonight and play the New York Rangers in the Subway Series, man. What's the buzz going into the game tonight?
Well, they're in a bad state right now. The home opener against Calgary, they really weren't in it. They had 7 or 8 guys missing. Then they played Toronto on Sunday night again. It was a no contest, and I think that's kind of the way it's going to be tonight. It's a little disappointing. We're going into the new building, and we're short-staffed. So I think the league I thought they might have stepped in tonight with injuries. We've probably got 9 regulars out of the lineup, and it's not a fair fight right now. And I don't think it's fair to the fans. I don't think it's fair to the team. But the league's going to have to do something about it.
For sure, but do your fans understand that, Clark? The Islanders have lost 6 in a row. I saw them burning jerseys over burning barrels in New York the other night. I'm like, come on. Like, I know you got passionate fans. Do they understand what's going on? Like, they seem very upset down there.
Yeah, the fan base is they only want one thing, especially with the ticket prices they're paying now in the new building. They want to win, and it's a difficult situation for them. I can't blame them. I think it's what's happened with COVID and a couple of key injuries. This team is playing very short-staffed, and you got it's mostly a group of the Bridgeport Sound Tigers playing, and I think the league at some point has to step in and say, listen, it's not good for the franchise, and help them out a little bit.
Hey, look, I'll talk about some positive things in a minute, but I do just want to say this. 13 straight on the road to open the season. And I think when they started the season, they looked fine, but I saw them play in Florida the other night, and I'm like, they're just bagged. They're just done. And they're 5-8-2 going into this game tonight. I mean, that is a hell of a schedule. What did you expect this team to do with 13 straight off the hop like this?
I thought it would be, I thought if they could come back a couple of games over 500, everybody would be very happy. They were in that position. They were 5-2-2 after 9 games on the road. And then, they lost the last 4, which was a little disappointing. Wasn't the way they wanted to finish, but, it is what it is. Nobody expected this situation with the COVID and the injuries that they've gotten. You can never predict that. This team is, I think they're pretty resilient. According to Lou the other night, he made a comment that the team is they're very upbeat. The morale is pretty good on the team. I don't know. That may just be the general manager talking. I don't know if that's true or not. But the fans were there all weekend. They were there for the home opener. It was a very exciting night. Even Sunday night with Toronto was exciting. But I don't know how they're going to accept. And tonight they got a bit of a break because it doesn't matter. There could be 30 inches of snow on the ground and it would be sold out for the Rangers. So it's going to be interesting to see how the game goes tonight. I sure hope somehow the Islanders can muster up enough to beat a Ranger team that I don't think has too many injury problems and doesn't have too much COVID stuff going on. So they're up against it tonight, and it's going to take a tremendous effort by every one of these regulars and the kids that they're calling up. I hope they have a lot of adrenaline because they're playing the Rangers in a brand new arena.
Well, we know one guy that'll be watching tonight. It's our good friend, our mutual friend, Joe Lazito, who you saw recently. He said that you had some nice things to say about me, so thank you for that, Clark. But I got to ask you this. Can the Islanders rebound? Because they're in such a tough division, this Metropolitan Division, where the last I looked, they don't have one team below 500. Can they salvage this year, do you think?
Oh, God, I would like to think so. Got a long way to go. They get everybody back and get on a streak. I believe they can get back into it. I mean, they got this. When they're healthy, it's the same team they went to the Final Four the last 2 years. So got great goaltending, got a great group of forwards, and they're just gonna have to weather this storm. It's not going to be easy. By the looks of it, at the end of this stretch, they're going to be, like you said, probably 4 or 5 games, 6 games under 500. But, I was thinking about the other night, thinking about the St. Louis Blues when they were in last place in their division after January 1st, and then came back and won a Stanley Cup. So anything can happen. I think this team is determined to come out of this and work as hard as they can to get back into a good position in their division and in their conference. So I'm not giving up on them just yet. I think there's a long way to go.
Hey, so to the happier topics, you've been pumping this rink for the last few years. Is it usually you get into these facilities and they're better than you thought? Is that what you got in New York?
This building is amazing. It's got so many great amenities for the fans. The suite levels are, gosh, they're mid-level. There's not a bad suite seat, I can tell you that. The 100 section has 10,000 people in the lower bowl. That's the most people in any lower bowl, certainly in the National Hockey League. It's very reminiscent of the sightlines from the Nassau Coliseum. Everybody's got a great seat. It's hasn't been as loud as we'd like yet because they haven't had a whole lot to cheer about yet. But they've given everything they can to the fans. There's 4 locations in the rink that you can go have a beer and not miss 1 second of play. They're all open air bars that look right back out onto the stadium. They've given it a lot of thought. There's more bathrooms in this arena than any other arena in the country, which was always a complaint. Getting a beer and going to the bathroom were the 2 biggest complaints. It's really special. They spent $1.5 billion very wisely.
Well, I'll tell you, the old Brand Center in Regina, the home of the Pats, when that baby opened in 1977, the Agrodome must have been just the marvel, because you can, to this day, stand at the concession and look over your shoulder and watch the ice. That was 1977, Clark. Like, that thing must have just been the jewel at the time, right? And by the way, had your son-in-law on, Justin Bourne, not that long ago. That must have been a hell of a farewell to the old lady last year in that run, Nassau County Coliseum, when you crushed a beer off your head on the big screen. I asked Justin about that, and he's like, that's my father-in-law. Emotion just take you over, Clark, that night, or what happened?
Well, there was a guy from the New York Jets that was smashing beer cans on his head. And my buddy who I was sitting with, he says, "You got to do that." I go, "I'm not doing that." I said, no, you got to do it. And I said, well, if the situation arises where we really need it, I said, I'll try it. So we were playing the Bruins that night, and the game was, I think it was 1-1. It didn't look like there was much going on. So it was more of an empty beer can than a full beer can. So I smashed it on my head. The fans went crazy, and I hit it about 3 or 4 more times. And a couple minutes later, Barzal scored, and we went on to win the game 4-1. But so everybody now says, "Oh, Gillies, you got to smash a beer on your head every game." And I said, Pat LaFontaine told me, "We've had enough concussions. You don't need to give yourself one." I said, "Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea." But it was a real conversation piece for a long time after I did that.
Well, I was still talking about it with Justin anyways, and man, it must have been a lot of fun. Well, we'll make it there eventually. For me tonight, it's Philly at Florida here tonight. I can't wait to be at that game. Clark, always a pleasure. Enjoy the game tonight, and hey, happy holidays as Thanksgiving hits us tomorrow.
Thanks, Roddy. We appreciate it. I was wondering where you were. That didn't look like your backyard in Regina, but
no, not at all. That's right. Thanks, Clark. Clark
Enjoy
Gillies.
it. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Rod.
Absolutely. Hockey Hall of Famer Clark Gillies, and most importantly, from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Big thanks to Clark. Big thank you to Mike Wilner, Blue Jays podcaster and columnist, for joining us in hour 1. And we will see you tomorrow. What do we got coming up tomorrow, Clark? Do we have it? I don't think I saw it. What do we got on U.S. Thanksgiving? Brian, oh, yeah, you did text it to me. Prapa. Okay, speaking of NHL greats, Brian Propp, Philadelphia Flyers great, and Devin Heroux will be reporting from Tim Hortons Canadian curling trials in Saskatoon. Well, this has been great. Flyers Panthers coming up tonight, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow here. We'll see you at noon Eastern on YouTube Live and Game Plus TV.
He felt sorry for Mike Riley last night. Walking off the field, he looked so disappointed.
The show's over, Lynch.
And hurt. Oh, is it? Okay.
Stop talking football. Oh.